Good football universe, man. It's your boy Dro the Gooner coming at you guys with my first half review of this semifinal of the 2019 Copa America matchup between the two South American giants. We're talking about the El Clásico de Sudamericana, Brazil versus Argentina. Game at the first half finishes 1-0. With a goal by Gabriel Jesus, and it was some of the most beautiful Brazilian football you've ever seen. That old school Brazilian football that that old school Brazilian football that you love. That's Jogo Bonito. It starts off with a little filth by Firmino as he dribbles through the midfield. I think he nutmegs somebody. It comes off, I think either Pizzello or Paredes. Knocks the ball to Dani Alves. Man, he flicks it over his head, chests it down, cuts in on Paredes. Paredes goes sliding by. He slips it to Roberto Firmino, and Roberto Firmino lays off a beautiful low cross, and it's side-footed by Gabriel Jesus into the back of the goal. It's one of those FIFA goals, you know what I'm saying, when you're online, you're playing against some loser, and you're just ripping them up. Or you playing with the Brazil national team on FIFA, and you're playing against Slovenia or something, you just ripping them up. It was that type of beautiful play. Something that you expect when you think of the Brazil national team. But I really want to credit Brazil for being organized. They're well organized, well drilled, well coached. Not that I'm giving Chiche any credit, but the guys are really committed to playing within the system that Chiche is implementing. Brazil comes out in the 4-2-3-1 with a back line of Alexandro, Thiago Alves, Marquinhos, and Dani Alves. They have Casemiro and Artur as the double pivot. You got Felipe Coutinho as the can with Everton, Roberto Firmino, and Gabriel Jesus up front attacking. Liking the fluidity of Gabriel Jesus and Roberto Firmino. Those guys are interchanging with each other. I'm liking the work that Everton is putting in. There was word today that there are Arsenal scouts at the Brazil match, and as we know, Edu, our new technical director, is the current technical director of Brazil. I'm telling you guys, you guys are talking about Wilfried Zaha, I know there's the Algerian player that we might be bringing in on a free, but man, if we can get this guy Everton on one of our wings, man, he's going to provide defensive cover. He's going to put in that work on the press, everything you expect to want out of what you guys would call the prototypical South American player. This guy's putting it in, man. This guy cares. He's dedicated, and he's working his ass off, and I'm really impressed by Everton. I've been impressed since the Bolivia match. As far as Argentina goes, Argentina's coming out in a 4-3-3 with a back line of Tagliafico, Pizzello, Otamendi, and Foyth, the Shittingham Shitspur player, and with a midfield of Acuna, Paredes, and Rodrigo de Paul, and an attack of Messi, Aguero, and Lautaro Martinez. That front attacking of Argentina sounds dangerous on paper. Lautaro Martinez is making moves. Kun Aguero had a chance from a free kick that was headed in by Messi. Kun Aguero heads it. It looks like it's going to dip under the bar, so Alisson attempts to make a save on it, but it comes off the crossbar and it's cleared. That Argentine midfield of Acuna, Paredes, and DePaul, there's no steal in that midfield. All those guys are playmakers, and they're just making bad tackles. If you think about the Gabriel Jesus goal, like I said, that midfield gets bypassed by some Felipe Coutinho filth and some Dani Alves filth. Like you got schoolball right back. You should really, consider what's going on in your midfield or what type of mid. That's how you know you're not a defensive midfielder when a right back school you, even though Dani Alves is super talented. But like I said, that midfield just got ripped apart, and they're committing fouls. I think Argentina is trying to make this a dirty type of fight. It's like I'm a huge boxing fan, so I'll compare it to boxing. Argentina is a slugger, and they're literally stepping into the ring with a Floyd Mayweather, a more skilled fighter, and they're getting caught doing the dirty stuff. A couple of yellow cards. I believe there's 2 yellow cards on Argentina, one on Dani Alves. If I had to give a man of the match or something like that, or a man in the first half, I would have to give it to 2 people, and that's Artur and Casemiro. I'll be completely totally honest with you guys. I'm more familiar with Casemiro because I follow Real Madrid throughout the Champions League. This is my first time I've ever get to see Artur play. Um, and this guy is, I'm impressed, man. I'm impressed with the double pivot and what the double pivot is doing to Lionel Messi. Casemiro and Arthur are cutting off all passing lanes to Messi. They seem to be communicating with each other in the midfield. When the ball's on one side of the pitch, they're both looking back to see where Messi is. And if one guy goes ball side of the pitch, the other guy comes and stands in front of Lionel Messi, cutting off all passing lanes. Messi has had to come deeper to pick the ball up, but as soon as he does, Casemiro and Arturo are on him. And those two guys are just absolutely controlling the midfield. Casemiro with physicality, knocking people off the ball, putting in tackles. Arturo with his passing. I've never seen a midfielder make as many as smart passes as Arturo. The ball somehow ends up at his feet, and he always makes the right pass. Both teams are pressing. Brazil's press is a little bit more aggressive, trying to create turnovers. Argentina's press, they are pressing once Alisson tries to pass the ball out of the back. They know that Alisson is a weapon that has been utilized by Liverpool and is being utilized by Brazil it's almost like having a fifth center back with his ball playing ability as a goalkeeper. And once the ball is at Alisson's feet, the press is on. But Brazil is doing an awesome job of bypassing it. They're literally passing their way out of the press. And once that happens, Argentina drops back defensively, leaving Kun Aguero and Messi up top by themselves. It's Lautaro Martinez's job to come back and sit back defensively with the other three midfielders. Other than that, like I said, I'm really impressed. I'm really, really impressed with the midfield of Brazil, Artur and Casemiro. I'm impressed with Brazil as a whole. They actually seem to care in this match. I'll be honest with you. In some other matches, it seemed like it was one or two players that care. I guess it's because it's the Clásico de Sudamericana that's like really pumped up Brazil. But these guys have came to play. Like I said, they're intense, but it's not overzealous intensity like Argentina, and that's what's killing Argentina right now because they're committing a bunch of silly-ass fouls. And it's not going to benefit them. Like I say, you already have two players on the yellow card. I don't see what changes that Argentina can make in the second half to improve this. I'll be honest with you, I don't know who they could pull off the bench. Maybe Di Maria, but I'm like, what exactly does he do? It calls into question why wasn't Arcardi called into this team? I'm a huge fan of Mauro Arcardi. I like him. I know he did some asshole shit to his teammate, but I like him as a player. And where is Dybala? And I don't think Dybala will see the pitch as long as Lionel Messi is on the pitch. He doesn't want to see that young guy come up. But like I said, I'm impressed with Casemiro, Artur, and I hope that the story is true that there are Arsenal scouts there, and I hope they are scouting Everton, and I hope we can get them on a cheap before somebody else scouts them. And I will be back with the second half review. Thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And looking forward to talking to you guys again. What's good, Arsenal? My bad. What's good, football and universe? Man, it's your boy, Dro the Grin. I'm coming back with my second half review. We have another goal. This time it's the reverse. It's Gabriel Jesus to Roberto Firmino. It comes on a Brazilian counterattack. Your boy Gabriel Jesus fights off Otamendi. He's fighting through Argentine defenders. Managed to still hold himself up and still make a pass. And Roberto Firmino is there just to tap it in. The game finished 2-0. Argentina crashes home. Argentina goes home. They crash out of the tournament. Two big talking points I want to bring up. Number one, what's wrong with Argentina? Is it the shadow that Messi cast, or is it lack of a strong personality at coach? Because whoever this guy is, Scaloni, like I said in one of my previous videos, Scaloni has to be Messi's dad's best friend, son, and that's how he got this job, because I don't see what qualifies him leadership-wise. I don't see what qualifies Scaloni tactical-wise to warrant his position as Argentine national team coach. If you guys notice, if you watch Brazil throughout this tournament, especially in this match right here against a tough opponent like Argentina, you would know how organized they were and how much they look better as a team to me. And I will argue with this with anybody. You can go back and look at the film yourself. Brazil are a better team without Neymar. They're a more organized team without Neymar. brings the question, and it brings into the theory and philosophy that I have, that Argentina will never accomplish anything with Lionel Messi on their team, because he casts a shadow so big that it disallows any strong personality coach or any coach with a style or tactical preference, because you have to admin your tactical preference or your style to what Lionel Messi wants to do, because of his wanting to free roam as he does in Barcelona. Sorry, sir, this is a national team. That's the whole point of being on a national team. When you go to your national team from your club team, you sacrifice yourself, you sacrifice your position and your playing style for the betterment of a team. For example, Paul Pogba is a better 4-3-3 midfielder, but he was willing to sacrifice himself and play in a double pivot alongside N'Golo Kante for France in this World Cup. Blaise Matuidi is normally that central defensive midfielder on a double pivot, but he played left wing for Deschamps at the World Cup. And that's my biggest criticism of Lionel Messi is his unwillingness to submit himself to the national team and follow a system and do what a coach has done. And I'm not going to people have argued me on Twitter about this, including Sid Lowe, including other people out there, Lionel Messi supporters or fanboys. I'll call you a fanboy because you're absolutely blind to his flaws. Have completely and totally argued me down about this, that, oh no, there's something wrong with the team. I totally agree. There's something wrong with Argentina. It's particularly in this match when they come out in the 4-3-3. There's absolutely no width. You're coming out in a 4-3-3. You have one wide player, and that's your left back Tagliafico, because Foyth is a stay home right back. You play three center midfielders in your 4-3-3, and neither Kun Aguero or Lionel Messi would go wide to stretch the defense. It's almost like Argentina's 4-3-3 played directly into Brazil's 4-2-3-1, and those guys kept trying to pass the ball through the brick wall that was Casemiro and Artur, and then behind those two guys, you have the PSV teammates in Marquinhos and Thiago Silva. I question the coach's tactical prowess. I question his tactical decisions. I question whether it was him or whether it was the technical director of the FA that chose this Argentine national team. Where's Christian Pavón, the wing player, who to me is a promising young wing player on his way to LA Galaxy that Arsenal was rumored with a couple of years ago? There's no Christian Pavón. You finally put Dybala on late, but that's for Tagliafico, and Dybala is a center attacking midfield. He's not going to get wide. Tactically, Argentina played directly into Brazil's hands. And Brazil had a weak spot. It was Alexandro. If you had any kind of right winger or any kind of right back that could overlap, or any kind of players that can link up 1-2 plays on the right-hand side, you could have had Brazil, because Alexandro had a shit game. So what's the question? What's the answer to that question? Is it Scaloni's tactical prowess and his setup, or is it the shadow that Messi cast? And I say the shadow that Messi cast because I believe that he handicaps and he handcuffs the Argentine national team tactically, because of his wanting to free roam. He doesn't want to stay in this position. I want to do this. Messi wants to play on either wing and then have the free range to cut inside whenever he wants to, or to drop deep and pick the ball up whenever he wants to. And you can't do that. Football has changed. Football, it isn't player-based anymore. It's system-based. And it's about how does your skill set and your technical prowess and your willingness and or want to submit yourself to the system that's being applied by the manager. And he hasn't done that for Argentina. And I think the only way Argentina will be successful is once Messi is no longer in the national team picture, or if he's still in the national team picture, they can coax Pep Guardiola out of Man City, and that's not going to happen. Argentina needs a strong personality, somebody like a Marco Bielsa, somebody like a Pochettino, somebody with a strong personality in a system that that manager believes in more than anything to become the national team manager for Argentina. Until they accomplish that, this Argentine national team will not accomplish anything. Messi had a couple of chances. I think he hits the post twice. He had a free kick that was saved by Allison. Allison completely and totally took it out of the air and just. I was really impressed with that. They took off Everton. Chiche took off Everton and put in Willian. And for what reason, I have no idea, because Willian didn't provide anything special. The only thing I can say about Willian is that he stayed in his position. He was tactically sound and was where he was supposed to be, but he didn't provide any outlets. He didn't provide any width. He didn't provide really anything to me that Everton couldn't have done. I would have kept Everton on the pitch as a counter-attacking threat. The only reason why he wasn't more successful in the first half is because the passes weren't coming his way. The opportunities just weren't, the ball wasn't coming his way. But he was putting in work in the first half, pressing, getting up and down his side of the pitch. The game got a little testy in the second half. Guys were pushing, guys were shoving. Gabriel Jesus, he pushed the hell out of somebody. I don't know who that person was, but he pushed that guy, and whoever that guy was, he went flying 20 feet. But forgive me if I sound a little drab here. It's not my intention. It was just weird to watch Argentina crumble the way they did. When you think about the players they have on the team and for the clubs that these guys play for, and you would just think that they would have been a whole lot better than what they were. It was almost like the game plan was get the ball to Messi, maybe Messi gets the ball to Aguero, maybe we score, maybe we win. And that did not work at all throughout this tournament, and especially in this game. Man of the second half, I would have to give it to Dani Alves, man. Old Dani Alves was playing his butt off the entire match, specifically in the second half, with his technical awareness, with his hold-up play. You could tell that's a true veteran. He knew when to hold the ball up, when to pass. When the ball came to him, he was calm on the ball. He knew what to do with it, where to go with it, and when to do it. So I was really impressed by Dani Alves. You don't really see that Dani Alves at the club level. He's kind of a jerk on the club level, but for the national team, like I say, it's the willing and wanting to sacrifice yourself for your national team and for your country. Late in the game, there was a play in the box. Artur, he elbowed the hell out of Otamendi. That probably should have been a penalty and or a red card. Brazil came out a little weird and a little funny. They were really unorganized in the beginning of at the beginning of the second half, and then halfway through the second half they readjusted themselves. You see the guys talking. Alan comes on for Gabriel Jesus, and you can see Dani Alves again. That's why I credit him with man of the match, especially in the second half, because he helped organize guys. He helped put guys in position. And it was almost like Brazil went from a 4-2-3-1 into like a 4-1-2-2-1. And like I say, my hat's off to Dani Alves for being a real leader and a real captain and organizing those guys. And putting those guys in the places that they were supposed to be. Just super impressed with everyone. Thiago Silva, I feel like, is one of the most underrated defenders in the world. It's the fact that he plays for PSG and has not won a Champions League. I think that's one of the knocks against him. Like I said, overall for the match, I knew about Casemiro. I knew what type of player Casemiro was. I was super impressed by Artur, because I thought Artur was this... I thought he was some silky Ivan Rakitic, Luka Modric-esque type player. He has a little bite to him. He has a little toughness to him, especially when he threw that elbow at Otamendi, and the way he was able to stop any passes coming into Messi. He played well defensively, cutting off pass lanes. He and Casemiro working that double pivot. Like I said, man, go back and watch that, especially in that first half, how they just literally cut off all passing lanes to Messi. Um, but also, I would point the finger at Messi as well because he didn't move. He didn't try to. He didn't try to make himself open, or he didn't try to come to receive the ball within that space. His only idea was either to come all the way deep and pick the ball up, or go all the way wide to try to receive the ball, and that stopped a lot of link up play to me. That stopped a lot of build up play. There wasn't that much build up play from Argentina, and again goes to the question: is it personnel or is it tactical decisions? And you have to give credit to Brazil and Chiche for the defensive plan that they had for Argentina. Guys, like I said, the game finished 2-0. Hats off to Brazil. I thought Brazil might. I'll be honest with you. My two finalists are out, which were Uruguay and Colombia. I thought those two guys. I thought Uruguay and Colombia were my favorites to win the tournament, but they're both out. And now you have Brazil going to the final at the Maracanã, and they're going to face either Chile or Peru. I'll be honest with you, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Chile beats Peru and Chile makes it to that final and they win the third Copa America in a row. That's some Chile type shit to do with their, with Gary Medel and Alexis Sanchez and all those guys. That's the type of move that I could see Chile pulling off. Outside of this game, man, special shout out to the United States women's national team beating England today. Shout out to Alex Morgan with that super cool ass goal celebration. I thought that shit was like I like that shit. You shoot slugs, and she shot slugs hard at England with the teacup sip with the pinky raise. I thought that was the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life. I want to try to get to do more matches. I know my matches are in between, but it's all based off my schedule and what's my schedule looking like. And when I have time to do it, I appreciate every single view. I appreciate every single like. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening. And be on the lookout for more match reviews coming down the future. And again, man, shout out to We Made It Podcast, man. If you guys are on iTunes, you guys are on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, please check out We Made It Podcast. Those guys do an awesome job, and those guys are inspiration to me, and they motivate me to keep doing what I'm doing whenever I get the chance to do it. I'm going to try to do some African Cup of Nations, but like I said, I don't have a subscription to beIN Sports. I'll see if I can make a couple of phone calls. But I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy providing tactical analysis. I really enjoy breaking down the game tactically. And again, just appreciate every single view, like, subscription. Thanks again for listening. Thanks again for watching. You guys have a good night.